Everybody, and welcome to this Microsoft Flight Sim video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new India Foxt Echo F-35. Now this is the B variant of the Lightning II, and the whole purpose of this video is just to go through the starter procedure and get the aircraft flying and check out its VTOL, the vertical takeoff and landing systems. There is a manual that's included with it, so if you get stuck anywhere, be sure to check it out. But certainly for anyone who's just picked it up, and you're probably scratching your head saying, how do you do the thing? Well, hopefully this video is going to help you. So starting off from the exterior of the aircraft, as you can see, the modelling here from India Foxt Echo is absolutely fantastic. They've always done a great job. I'm really fond of their MB339 and another work that they did with the T-45, the Goshawk. But this one here, it's absolutely amazing. The F-35, it's like, I don't know, is it like a bland type of aircraft? There's not a whole lot going on. Such is the design that most of its systems would be overt. Now you can put weapons on the wings. We can go through the payload manager here now in a moment. And it also carries some internal weapons as well inside the bomb bays. Now the weapons are only aesthetic. There are no systems that you can use. It's a limitation obviously of the sim. But it looks the part, and it still looks absolutely incredible. This aircraft, it's just... It's out there, man. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump in, get the systems up and running, and then see what happens. So, welcome to the cockpit. And, well, straight away, it's very different. This is the panoramic flight display. But anyway, to get us started, a couple of things we need to do first. And we'll get ourselves just accustomed to it. So over on this panel on our left-hand side, that's going to be where our battery and engine controls are. Just to the left-hand side of the throttle, you have your engine motor. That's important. We'll go through that. What else do we have? Let me see. You have your ejector seat, which isn't modeled, but it's there. You know, you can activate the safe mode on it. Then you have the joystick. That's pretty much it. Everything else is going to be accessed through the main panel here. So what we're going to do, we're going to close the canopy. And we have two remove before flight. So we're going to lift the pin out of here, go ahead and arm the seat, and we can lift the pin out of the side here as well. So first protocol done. We'll then go ahead and turn on the battery. Okay, so there are so many click spots here. We'll go through them one by one. So we'll start off with the menu. So in the menu, we can access a couple of different things. The main things we're going to do is start with our lights, L-I-T-E-S. Click on lights, and we can activate our console lights. We can also put on our position, strobes, formation lights. If we check outside the aircraft, there's now everything up and running in terms of our lights. So that's where they were hidden. Right, back from that menu. If you look at the main kind of menu up across here, there's a couple of things you can change. You have your different frequencies for your comms. You also have your squawk, in which you can change it here now. So you can put in a code. And depending on the mode, you can just double check to see where you go with that. Also then you have your barometric settings. You can go in and edit that. The B key works. And you can also have your time settings, whereby you can look at local and Zulu time. So as we were waiting, the second screen starts to power up, and this is going to show us even more details. Now what you can do, the top bar effectively works like a shortcut. So if you want to see where you know the various controls are at, if we want to have a look at the engines, it'll bring up the engine, even though you have it here. If you want to have a look at the fuel systems, fuel is here. Next up you have your weapon systems, which is just in here. And you can open the bay doors. So we'll get a caution now to say the weapon door is open. And if we have a look under the aircraft, you can see the weapon doors are now open. Pretty cool. Now, just from our load manager, if you want to check how to put weapons onto it, with all of these, according to the manual, there are specific weights that you need to put in. You know, you have 200, you have 550, 2000. Go by the manual and they'll start populating. So, for example, if we just want to throw, I think they're sidewinders, throw a couple of sidewinders on these. Screen a bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. So station 1 and 11 enter on the both of them. That's given us 2 Sidewinder missiles on the side. Pretty nifty. And you can add more in if you need it. Now, we're going to change this because it's very important. I need to keep the overall weight under 40,000 pounds. And the reason for that is I want to be able to use the auto hover mode. So we'll go through all of this now in a moment. First port of call, we need to get the aircraft started. So to do this, go down to our panel down here on the side. We're going to put our cabin pressure to normal. We can now put on our ICC2 and ICC1. Our IPP light comes on. This is like a gen switch here. We won't worry about that for the moment. We're going to go ahead and click on start. MFSOV, that's our fuel. We're now going to open that. So as we see our N2 rising, don't forget we need to activate the engine motor. If you hear a bell, it's the cat. She's beside me. So at around 23 on our N2, go ahead and click the motor. We zoom in here now. N1 is starting to rise. N2 is rising. Oil pressure, hydraulics, everything else is starting to come alive. Now it's giving us a warning for the generator being low. That's fine, that'll fix itself. Now an important thing we need to watch. Over here it has GW, that's our gross weight. As I said, that needs to be kept below 40 or 40,000 pounds in order to use some of the automatic features for the aircraft, which we can see here now. So we have a couple of things, right? With the B variant, you have the VTOL, the vertical takeoff and landing. So essentially, a couple of tips before you jump in the aircraft. Make sure that you have aileron trim left and right down to something. Ideally on a joystick or somewhere on your keyboard, because you're going to need them in a little while. Essentially your trims act as a way to control the aircraft during hover mode, and it's super cool. So what we can do, we have a switch over here, we have the hook and the STOVL. If we activate this button, all sorts of transformers will start happening. Isn't that cool? That's beyond cool. And like the detail, once again, it's India Foxt Echo are fantastic at detail. Look at that. So what we have some options here now. We have hover and also auto takeoff. And the reason these are not red, it's because we have our gross weight below 40,000 pounds. If we were to increase our fuel, for example, get up there, you devil, yeah. We're at 42,000 pounds. And you'll note now that we can't go into auto hover mode. You can still use the feature of hover, but it's just not going to work from an automatic point of view. So we'll bring that back down again. Once it's below 40,000, we should be laughing. So go ahead, turn on our flight director. CDI can be turned on as well. It's so strange having this glass cockpit display, but essentially there's so many click spots on this screen. And you can customize it pretty much any way you want. Not only that, but you have all your checklists here as well. Engine start, taxi, takeoff, landing, and post-flight as well. Really, really handy. We can also go in and check, let me see, our fuel systems, that's just doubled up. We can have a look at our EFI. This is kind of like your go, no-go system. So it's part of your PHM. So essentially, if all your systems are saying go or green, don't mind the in-op ones, you should be pretty much good to go. You can also double up in your hood. And that's it. You can play around with the rest of them. But as I said, for this video, it's pretty much let's get the hover mode in. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off as normal here. We're down at Gibraltar. And there's an aircraft carrier a little bit out towards the sea. So we're going to take off in a standard normal configuration. And then we're going to ramble out to the aircraft carrier just to see. So our landing light can be turned on, parking brake is going to come off, and we're just going to taxi out. The aircraft system itself When it comes to flaps, everything is automatic. I don't know why they just didn't call it a smart plane, but it is a smart plane. Everything it uses are automatic. Now, you can deploy spoilers or brakes, but again, the aircraft knows when it needs to slow itself down. The autopilot on this plane is definitely your friend. So because we're going for a traditional takeoff, we don't need that system in. We're just going to taxi out here and then blast it off. It's an extremely fast aircraft. There's so many cool different effects and visual effects included with it. All the vapor trails, and it shows when you break the speed barrier. It's pretty cool. Forgot, so I was turned around here. Only see the carrier out there. Okay, let's go. So what our plan is going to be, we're going to ramble out to the carrier and we're going to try the hover mode. So keep an eye on your speed and our altitude. Bring up our map here as well. Okay, out this way. So carrier is now in sight. You can see it over there. So what we're going to do for this, you need to be mindful of your speed. You can't activate the STOVL over a certain speed, so we want to be bringing it down very, very close to about 200 knots. So with that, throttle goes to idle. We can engage our spoilers here as well. Now, if you wanted, you could set up the autopilot. That'll fly you on a direct heading with the aircraft carrier. But for this, we'll just fly it in manually. So speed is coming down nicely. We're around 240 now. Keep letting it drop. Start leveling out. Just getting a warning with the terrain. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on our hook and STOVL. It's now activated. And what we're going to do, we're going to hit hover. You notice that the aircraft starts to rev up. It's now doing everything itself. So you'll notice that our speed is going to start dropping down and the aircraft is going to pretty much hover. It doesn't really budge, and it's fantastic to see. So if we go external, the animations, it's a Microsoft thing, it just takes a few seconds. Now what we're going to do, as I said, we can use our trim buttons now. So if you use aileron roll, no it's not, it's aileron trim right. If you activate that, that's going to increase your forward moving speed. If you have aileron trim left, it's going to put you in reverse. It's just really, really handy to have. Now, if you want to yaw, your rudder pedals do all of that. And if you need to strafe, left on your joystick or right on your joystick. If you want to change your altitude whilst in hover, well, if you push the stick forward, that'll decrease your altitude. And if you want to increase your altitude, pull it back. So we'll continue straight on, lower the landing gear because we don't want any more warnings. And we're just going to move forward here. So we're at top speed at the moment in hover mode. It's so strange and mad, isn't it? Now, depending on, you know, whatever procedures you're going to follow for aircraft carriers, you enter a pattern, you go for normal landing. But this is just to show you guys how the systems work. So now pushing the stick forward, and that's going to start dropping our altitude. What we're going to do, we're going to come alongside the carrier. Now, over time, you know, you're going to get so much better at this than me. You'll be able to just do one very quick flight past the carrier, you know, immediately put it into hover mode, get yourself landed, engine off, and then see how quick you can get it back in the air. It's all ahead of you. So I'm now using my aileron trim left to slow us down. That's going to bring our forward momentum back. Good. It's very forgiving. Once it's in hover mode and, you know, the autopilot takes over, it is very, very forgiving. It responds so well to your inputs. So our forward speed is about 2 knots. This is ideal. We're pushing forward on our stick. And like, this is how accurate it is. Like, once you stop descending forward motion on your joystick, and you can bring your speed back, I mean, look, you're a matter of, you can get close, you can get inches off the ground if you want. Isn't that fantastic? Right, so to complete the maneuver, keep pushing forward on the stick until we have contact on the ground. The aircraft then senses that you've made contact, and it brings the power back to idle. So if you want to take off, leave everything the way it was. Again, your throttle controls, they're pretty much a passenger of this. Click on the hover button. The aircraft starts spooling up. You pull back on your stick, that's going to bring you up. And if you want to start your momentum moving forward, you can aileron trim right. It's all about judging what height is going to be a safe takeoff, I suppose. So we're currently in hover mode. What's our altitude there? About 500 feet. So let's see what happens here. If we turn off hover, put the systems back on full. It's my control now, full throttle forward. We can see our speed lifting. We're now at 120 knots. So we can turn off our STOVL. Now our system is back to a normal aircraft. Afterburners engaged. So we'll end the video here. As I said, it was only a very quick kind of, this is what you need to do. If you guys are thinking about picking up this aircraft, I can tell you it's absolutely incredible. It's so different than anything you've flown before. In particular, it comes with 3 different variants. The B is my absolute favorite because you can do the VTOL stuff. But as you can see, it looks, sounds and flies really, really well. India Foxt Echo have done such an amazing job, and it's currently for sale now. They just released it today. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, is this going to be something you're going to want to pick up? It's definitely going to be a lot of fun, and even if it's something you want us to put into the live streams as well. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.